Hello everyone and welcome back to Sudden Wealth. I hope you're having a very good week. Guys, if you do enjoy the content, please consider dropping that like and subscribe. We are quickly approaching the 1050 subs. So thank you once again very much for your support. So without wasting much time, yesterday Ethereum topped $3,000. Ethereum is now about 6.67% versus Bitcoin, since the beginning of the year. I'm still expecting this ratio to improve to at least 15 to 20% before end of March, before the halving. And typically, when you have the halving, you have a big sell the news event. But Ethereum tends to run a little bit further than Bitcoin. So the way it usually goes is Bitcoin tops or has a top, for a few months, a couple of months. Then Ethereum tops about 28 days later, and then the altcoins top 7 to 14 days after Ethereum. If you think about it, makes perfect sense, which is the flows of liquidity are going from the safer asset Bitcoin into Ethereum, and then from Ethereum into the altcoins. So in that sense, once again, the cycle is repeating to the month, pretty much, which is surprising to me how it can still catch so many people off guard. I think there's still a lot of retail participation, which means that the psychology of markets play out a bit on a more pure form, let's say, rather than the heavily studied, some degrees heavily manipulated cycles of stocks in which you have the institutional players that make things a little bit harder for the bunch of us. What else? In the meantime, Japan is now confirmed it being in the recession. Germany is continuing. France is approaching recession. The Netherlands stays in recession. The UK entered recession. And in my opinion, China is also in recession. I don't care about what their official government numbers are, but one way that you can look at it is pretty much what has been happening to their real estate market and to their stock market. And you guys may know that I've been defending this for quite some time, which is China reminds me of Japan in the 80s. Now, what happened to Japan in the 80s? Stock market topped in 89. Real estate bubble started crashing in 1990 into 91. So basically within a time span of 2 years. And China is doing the exact same thing. So it topped in 2021. And the real estate market is pretty much crashed all over 2023. About 2 years later, just like you would see in Japan back in the 80s into the 90s. So I do think that this is a very meaningful top for China. So I'm not so convinced about when people say that they will take over the world and basically the US and Europe and the rest of the world are just a bunch of has-beens. In my opinion, growth will shift towards other regions of the globe, but more likely into Asia Pacific and certain countries in the Middle East rather than China. I think China has grown far and has basically touched this potential, and because it's a dictatorship, things will be much worse than what you've seen in Japan over the past 30 years. Once again, printing money non-stop, still fighting deflation. But in any case, going to better stuff, start to see the stocks finally selling off a little bit for 3 days in a row, which is, it's healthy market behavior. You want to take a little bit of a break. You want to consolidate at certain levels. You want to stay above 4,920 in the S&P 500, but at least 4,800 in the S&P is the number to look for us to keep on the trend line. Nvidia is coming out later today. As you know, it's been one of the magnificent companies that has been carrying a lot of the load, heavily linked to AI. So it will be interesting to see if they can keep on not just outpacing estimates, but also now the expectations of the market. Now it's very important. A lot of outperformance is priced in. It's been priced in over the past few months, so it needs to even outperform the outperformance, if you will, in order for it to continue its move. Other than that, I still expect the big altcoin season to start around March, going into April. Pulse Chain, PulseXX still consolidating at the higher levels. I'm starting to look a little bit more into lottery tickets. As you know, PulseSpot is one of them, which is doing good. But I'm also looking at liquid loans is starting to become attractive to me. It's been sold off quite a bit. But I am still chasing that big narrative for 2024, 2025. So I'm still looking for that big, what's going to be the next NFT, the next Dogecoin, whatever. And I am actually quite curious to see what the future holds for us. But in any case, what's important to say, cycles repeat. We are just on schedule for everything. Ethereum looked dead a couple of weeks ago, and now finally, as we went above the 3,000 mark, I think we are now selling off, making that last stop before we start to take off a little bit more serious. I found it funny, people saying, oh yeah, Ethereum is crashing to 2,900. Yeah, that's 2 days ago price. What a crash. I mean, you know what to expect, right? This time of the year. Yeah, just like I think somebody was saying also, oh, Bitcoin crashes to 50,800. 50,800, a couple of weeks ago that would be a magnificent price, and now it's a crashing price. That's the expectations of the market as we move higher, and I would also like to see the expectations for the price of Bitcoin to improve and to increase. So basically, the consensus trade has been 150K. That's not good. You want to see the price at, you want the consensus to be 500K. Because that means that once you touch 300K, 400K, there are still people willing to buy. But if the consensus is at 150, at 100K they stop buying. See, they need to believe that it's going to go much higher, because that's how they feel comfortable buying at much higher prices. But other than that, guys, just wanted to give this quick update. Don't forget, drop the like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.